if you could, I know I'm kind of asking this question late in episode 3 and whatnot that we're doing it in, but if you could put into words of just how you were at the start, if you were somebody, if you could put it into words of how you would want people to start watching One Piece, how would you have them start watching it? Like, where would you have them pick up from the very first episode, skipped in? If you were putting yourself, if you were looking at yourself back when you were kid versus now, what would you say to them into terms of beginning to watch One Piece?
Man, see, I could understand a bit of why I didn't like it when I was younger. Partially, it's gonna obviously be because of the animation
Yeah,
of the time, of course. But nothing can be said about that. Nothing can be helped about that. Um,
it gets better.
Man, for sure, you can say that. Yeah, listen, it definitely does. But man, it'll be harder for me as a teenager. It's kind of perfect that I started watching it when I did because I value storytelling at this age. And a couple, obviously a couple
Yeah,
years or so around what 24, 25. At this age, I value storytelling so much compared to back then. I really just wanted to see fights. So it's hard to kind of say that because there's so much world building in One Piece. There, don't get me wrong. There are plenty of fights. Action is great, but it's so much world building that it takes a bit longer to get to fights than I say traditional anime, which is what I talked about earlier, which is why it was kind of difficult to get into.
right.
Um, but saying it now, just like, hey, the storytelling is so it's so it's perfect. I mean, it's nothing that you can really find anything to pick at or fault that they do as of where I'm at now,
Right.
looking back on it, that just know everything that you watch. This is also how I phrase it. Everything you watch, canon, mixed canon, filler, not filler shit. I do not watch strictly filler episodes. So if you watching all of that, everything in there is important at some point in the show, whether you realize it or not. Uh, it may take you having to go back and watch things a couple more times just because it's so long and there's so much in it. But at the end of the day, looking back, the ride is so worth it. As you see, it's my number one anime, and I at one point I never thought I'd watch it, but it's so. I'm trying to tell you, it's so worth it. The 1,000 episodes, it seems daunting. It's not. It's so worth it when you really. When I'm looking back at it, it's so worth getting into it. I mean, I'm telling you, there's gonna be a point, and it may take a minute, but there's gonna be a point when you watching it, and at first it's like, oh, okay, it's a good anime. It's like regular, for the time it came out. It's okay, cool. But you're gonna get to a point where you start watching it, it's like, damn, when did I get this fucking far in this show? It's like it blows by faster than you really think it does, bro. 1,000 is such a big number, and people are so daunted by that task of 1,000 episodes. But it flies. I'm trying to tell you, it honestly flies by. As for me, especially um especially when you get to the war arc. So for me, that's when this like I told you my favorite scene is still the Arlong Park scene.
Yeah.
But when the show really, I just for me, when it really started to like take
Time
off
skip.
was what
Yeah.
was the time skip. So right when you do from Impel down to Marine Ford, you got to get through kind of like the training and all that. But once you get to from that to the time skip, oh my god, that shows
The pickup is
because the
amazing.
animation and everything at that point is just it's it, man. I'm trying to tell you, it's like that. There's a reason it's been going on for 1,000 episodes plus,
25
1,000 chapters
years.
plus. It's like that. He's doing an amazing job. I'm trying to tell you. I cannot wait to see how this finishes up. I'm glad I didn't start watching it earlier, especially because when you get to watching it and you realize you're watching it like crazy, you're gonna be happy at so many episodes that you just because you enjoy it. Stop.
Yes.
You all are thinking of it like it's like it's a chore or something. Like it's gonna be painful. Like, dude, you're gonna enjoy what you're watching.
You become a member of the Straw Hats.
Thank you. You're gonna start begging for more episodes. Like I'm at the point where I'm caught up, obviously, but I've gone back and rewatched from the time skip and caught up again. Like it's like that, man, and you just want more episodes. You want to know what's coming next. Like I can't imagine how people have been watching it since '99, waiting on episodes to come out. Like, man, week to week. Like, bro, are you ridiculous? To be able to watch from the beginning all the way to Wano has been basically a godsend. Like, man, I couldn't imagine. Like, right now, it's a pain. So I can only imagine how it was earlier on.
Yeah, earlier on, I kind of took off. Like, me watching it, I've been watching it since I was a kid, so I would take off like weeks of watching it just to binge it up and stuff like that. But that's because it came on demand. That Comcast on demand, like I could just go back, click. All right, cool. I'm 4 episodes in now. Watch. Cool. Break. Watch. And kind of play like that. But now, just like you said, it's been able to have that freedom of just watching it from if you start off at episode 1 or you start off at episode 370. It's a blessing to just have to just watch it smoothly throughout. Like you can go to sleep. I'm somebody who I go back. I've probably told Law this 1,000 times. I rewatch it a lot from episode 1 or episode 700. Like,
you can pick different arcs and just watch it from a certain arc and go from there and still be fine with that after you watched it through the first time. It's fine.
Yeah. It comes into play. Like it's, man, if I can tell anybody start watching it, bro, like I'm glad that I can say Law is watching it. Like,
oh man,
bringing that into it is
glad I did.
Through and through, hands down. It's probably one of those things when like you start watching it, and I tell people all the time, don't worry about it. It's gonna pick up. It's gonna get good. For Christ's sakes, a guy gets popped off at the beginning.
And Granberry, for example, that was me, and it was Granberry. He going through it right now. He wasn't watching that first.
And then he was in and out.
It was like pulling teeth, trying to get his ass to watch episodes. Now his ass flying through the shit, bro. He on 300 something, almost on 400 something. He's in the middle of the war arc right now. Yep. So he's literally at the part we talking about where it's really about to take off. It's man,
a number one moment.
It flies by. We trying to tell you.
But let's keep it going. I can go on and on about this. Watch One Piece
all day.
Yeah, watch One Piece. Make sure you guys are caught up and to actually don't watch it just to watch it, but watch it to understand it. Because it's a lot of shit you're gonna have to I'm telling Law right now to go back to certain arcs and just make connections. So watch it to fully understand it.